This is MATHguide.com, and my name is Mark Karadimos. That's the heart of MATHguide. So you're a teacher, and you're considering using MATHguide.com to launch into a new topic. It's a great idea. So in this video, you're going to learn several ways that you could use MATHguide to launch into a new topic. Let's say, or to start a unit, let's say we go to our lesson section. So you click on here to the lesson section. Let's say you're in college algebra, and your classes need to learn about complex numbers. A gentle way to enter into this topic is to look at graphing, and you're going to want to show this video. Well, what you could do, instead of just showing the video, you could give them the video the night before, and you can see it's just a simple little 5-minute video, 5.5-minute video. And the video actually does a great job of transitioning students from graphing in the Cartesian coordinate plane to graphing in the complex plane. So it's another way to transition students. So that's one way to do it. And we have hundreds of different videos, and our videos have nice arrows. You could see that as the dialogue goes on in the video, there are graphics that pop up to highlight certain areas for detailed consideration. All right, so what's another way to do it? Another way is to, well, I'm going to go back to the home page. If you scroll down where it says, let's see, where is it? Yep, special services. If you go under here where it says problem of the day, I'm going to click on that. And what we have here are a bunch of videos, and I've taken these very short videos, and you can see the time for each one of them. I got one here that's 8 minutes. I think that's the longest one because that's kind of detailed, but still a great way to launch into a topic. But you can see that I've also categorized these by different domains like number, algebra, functions, modeling, and so forth. And I even put some ideas about how they could blend over into a different area like physical education, foods, horticulture, business, and so on. Another way to launch into a new topic is to use the lessons. If you click on the lesson section, again, let's say you're in algebra, and you want students to, let's say, solve literal equations. So you'd click on the L for literal equations. You, of course, would send your students to this website. They would read it, and you can see that this section has, or this lesson has a few sections, not that many. And what you would do is you would come up with a list of ideas that they would be searching for, like questions in advance. You'd give them like, what is a literal equation? How do you solve literal equations? Or what are some strategies? What examples did you see? What does P stand for in the formula? Anyway, and you could ask or have a whole bunch of questions in advance lined up, so as they're looking through the lesson, they know now what to look for in the lesson. And then, of course, you could approach this in a jigsaw fashion, is have certain students look at certain sections, and then you report back about what they just read. Now, this particular lesson probably wouldn't warrant a jigsaw approach. You could just assign this for a flipped environment, but there's more complicated lessons that you could look at that have many parts, like conic sections, for instance. So another way you could use MATHguide is to utilize the Quizmasters. Quizmasters provide feedback, and this feedback is good for teachers and students. We call it assessment for teachers, but then we call it student feedback for students, right? It's still assessment, however you're going to slice that. So let's say that you click on the lesson section and you're in algebra and you want to teach solving equations or assess it. And assessing is part of teaching. Let's go down to the quiz section. So what you can do is you could assign these quizzes for openers, closers, or at any time during a class. And what I suggest you do is to assign the quizzes with help. Okay, the quizzes with help, well, first of all, the quiz is going to be a random quiz. It's going to be randomly generated with coefficients and constants. And students will be asked to enter in more than one response. And this response, being that there's more than one, helps teachers become very surgical with their approach of helping students, because then they can see exactly where these students are having trouble. Are you having trouble initiating the problem, or are you having trouble closing the problem? Now for this one, there's only a couple steps. It's a beginning level problem. You might want to use this second level problem, a little bit more difficult, where there's 4 opportunities for responses. And again, this is very helpful because as a teacher's walking around the classroom, students are either using their cell phones or a laptop. The teacher can see automatically, very quickly with the glance of an eye, how many different red spots a student has. Or if they do this correct, it'll provide a green response that says congratulations. So it's a really easy way to visualize who's having trouble and where they're having trouble. Another great way to use MATHguide is to utilize the project templates. Scrolling down, I'm going over here where it says under Students, Projects. And under the Project section, I have a bunch of ideas how students can review. Like here is students can draw a cartoon. And they could do this in groups or not. It depends on how many panels you want students to use. You could, determine all that ahead of time. Here, performing a demonstration, of course, you would have to say that the demonstration would have to be something complicated, and there's some text there that explains that. You could have students do a report on a mathematician or some topic, do a puzzle, and so on. Of course, in this template also offers way to assess learning. Here's basically the parts, the project phases that they'd have to go through, and then of course how to determine the grades. Another great way to use MATHguide is to use the puzzles, games, and brain teasers. If you go over here to the puzzles section, you can see that I have a bunch of games that are unique to MATHguide that you'll not find anywhere else. Some approach systems of equations, some are skill building, like how to add, multiply. Some deal with creativity, some pattern recognition, and then here's another unique tic-tac-toe. And then of course there's some brain teaser problems, and there's several here. I've got many brain teaser problems, and some approach the higher order thinking. MATHguide has another service available. It's the bulletin board service called Help Center. So either clicking on the graphic or the text will send you to the bulletin board. I have a new forum called Math Talk. The point of using Math Talk is to have students discuss certain concepts, skills, patterns, reading material, video that they just saw, and to post their ideas about what they just saw. And then of course they would have to respond to at least 2 other students making their response. The point is to have students think, reflect, write, read, and dig deep into the content, and really facilitate growth and understanding. To use the bulletin board, you need to have students register. It's really quick. All they have to do is use a active email account, and they'd be asked to verify that. As you can see, MATHguide has several important services that it offers. It's all free, and I'd like to just thank you for stopping by. Make sure you come back again. Take care. Have a great day.